Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here. And for those of you that have followed me through this COVID-19 84 journey, you'll know that my two major concerns over this whole thing, because I believed then and I believe now that it is very real, is number one, the military response, right? The economic doom and gloom, folks, we still haven't even gotten there yet. Okay, and quite frankly, I think that's frightening as well and concerning. But when this was going down, the military, number one, was my biggest concern. My second biggest concern was the medical martial law that was going on, and the fact that you could not talk about certain treatments for coronavirus, COVID-19, without being censored online if you got too big. And this later on got extended to doctors being censored as well. However, one of the first things that we talked about to combat this virus was what? Have a good immune system. And we talked about studies of IV drugs, aka vitamin C, if you can call that a drug, okay, transfused into the body in association with what? Steroid treatment. And I talked time and time again about, although steroids have been demonized in the regular populace, what do? They boost your immune system, right? They stop inflammation, and they are very, very useful. So now today, all right, guess what? An authoritative source is now reporting that steroids, aka dexamethasone, proves first life-saving drug. And now because the BBC says it, are all those videos I did that may have been controversial or, I don't know, harmful content, still harmful? It's the BBC. So we're going to break down what they're saying with this study. We're also going to break down other steroid treatments that I had been reporting that were being used in New York, right? And we're still not hearing about, like, I think it's methylprednisolone. I'm probably butchering that name, but that was another type of steroid treatment that they were giving some of these people. Before we get into all that, I want to remind people, I am fully demonetized on this platform. 100%. Not a penny. Can't give me a super chat. It really bums me out. We've gone through the process of saying, hey, wait a minute, what's harmful? But later today, guys, as I do every Tuesday at noon, I'm also going to be streaming live and free over at Rockfin, talking about a new defamation complaint I just got on YouTube that I can't combat. And it makes it so the one video where I got the defamation complaint, and they confirmed it, can't be played in Spain. So if you want to see that, you want to help me out, please, please, please do so through the GoFundMe, and then go check me out free on Rockfin. In fact, yesterday, my video got pulled twice. I did some editing on it, but the Holy Mountain video, the shocking occult film exposes the Predator class plan back in 1973, that's not allowed on YouTube either. So, I mean, we're talking right now about things that are harmful content and not about YouTube. We're going to be talking about that a lot more at Rockfin live at noon. So create a free account and go check it out there. So now, again, in the UK, they're talking low-dose steroid treatments of dexamethasone is a major breakthrough in the fight against coronavirus. All right? Now, this even did well. I think it was 1 out of every 3 patients on a ventilator, and then 1 out of 5 on oxygen. And they're saying at least 5,000 lives could have been saved through this. Okay? Well, once again, let's talk about how scary the medical martial law is out there. A lot of you have sent me that undercover video of I believe she was a Florida nurse who came to New York and is, talking about how people didn't have COVID and they got it there, how they were changing these certificates, how they were putting people on ventilators they should not have. Believe me, I watched it. I've watched subsequent interviews. We've played some of these nurses talking about it. We talked about my nurse sources that said that, they had tried the hydroxychloroquine at one point. They had tried other types of steroid treatment. None of that made the media, right? And here's the thing. With this virus in particular, you are completely cut off from your loved ones. You are the only one speaking for you. And if I walk into a hospital and I say, oh, you think I'm positive for this, and they want to give me medical treatment, I'm going to say, listen, I want my medical treatment. And it's so difficult. It's so difficult. Some of these people are very, very sick, and they're older, and they have these comorbidities, right? So they're already out of it, and then they're put on a vent. And we learned very, very early on. Took the media a while to report this too. Was it harmful content? When I was talking about 80 to 90% of people put on vents don't make it off? And then that became true. So my question is, in retrospect, you can look back at some of my coronavirus coverage, and especially the military stuff and cutting off New York City. I got wrong. Thank God I got that wrong. And Cuomo even surprised me on that, threatening to sue Rhode Island when he was sending National Guard over to homes looking for New York people. That was surprising to me. All right, that does not excuse Cuomo's behavior in putting literal sick patients in the homes of people who were well, instead of using the Javits Center and others, which makes no sense, and then infecting those people and then killing them. And, by the way, still locking down my state to a large extent, where people still can't visit their loved ones in nursing homes and at certain hospitals. This is that medical martial law I'm talking about, an extension of that. No one to speak on their behalf. It's a disaster. And if I go in there with my loved one and I say, I want this person to get the steroid treatment immediately. Well, we don't think that's... No. And hopefully they have someone who's cognizant enough that can do that for them. With coronavirus, you can't. Right? Forget about the track trace database stuff. Forget about the contact tracing force. Forget about the ludicrous things they're making bars and restaurants supposedly do. Like, they actually have a volunteer sheet. They strongly encourage you to use it here. But if somebody's in there and they don't work there, and they have a mask on or a mask off at any time, they're supposed to write down their name and number, just in case. That's the draconian nonsense that we're seeing, right? And at the same time, you have 25,000 plus complaints on businesses in New York State alone 2 days ago. Stitch Force. Telling on each other. Shaming people for not doing what the television says, when, in fact, the television says things one day and it changes the other. And even guys like Cuomo, who talk out both sides of their mouth, say what? The facts aren't the facts. So at the end of the day, when we start looking at this virus, what do we know? The vast majority of people that get it are going to survive. The vast majority of people that are affected by it badly, not everybody, but the vast majority that are affected badly have other comorbidities, are older, and immune system problems. Facts also show that if you treat this thing with what? Steroids and perhaps, I don't know, the vitamin C treatment that, again, those studies existed from China. All right? You start there. I mean, we can't even talk about the mesenchymal stem cells, even though that's an authoritative source, right? We can't talk about any of these things. We can't talk about hydroxychloroquine and zinc without, oh, you want to put bleach in people's lungs, Jason. I mean, come on. Let's be mature about this. So once again, I just want to point it out. Here we go. An authoritative source is now saying that steroids are helping to treat coronavirus for those that on vents in severe cases. So it just shows you how the goalposts can move and move and move and will continue to move. Trust me. And that's one of the reasons, guys, I'm getting out of New York. Got the car in the driveway. Still needs a couple things done. I'm driving around making sure there's nothing else getting done. I'm hoping to leave within a week. And now I'm kind of debating, instead of just traveling across the country, maybe I should fly out to Seattle and go to this autonomous Chaz zone and film there for a few days and then come back and travel. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, it's obviously dependent on how much we raise. 5, 10, 15 bucks means the world to me. Big donors, I need you now more than ever so we can make this trip a reality and we can start reporting from the front lines and showing where all the freedom is in America. Showing the places that didn't shut down, the places that aren't snitch squads, and going to have Bill and Melinda Gates and Michael Bloomberg and Eric Schmidt reimagine their state. Guys, go check out the channel. Make sure you thumb the videos up, that you are subscribed. Remember, all my documentary films in the playlist section right here, Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture are free right here, right now. And Shade, Invisible Empire, if you want to know what's really going on in the world right now, please go check them out. Once again, you can sign up for Rokfin for free. Obviously, the premium content is premium. But every Tuesday at noon, that's today, in about an hour and 20 minutes, I will be streaming live over there for free. We're going to talk about YouTube, defamation complaints, harmful content, how we do really need to find other platforms. You guys are always like, well, what other platforms? This is one. And we're doing, several, if not 5 exclusives, hours of content every week over at Rokfin as well for premium members. And we give away the free stuff. And remember, yesterday's video got censored by YouTube, thrown off twice. So if you want to know whether or not the Holy Mountain revealed the true plan for control back in 1973, please go check it out. Guys, I love you, and I'll see you on the flip side.